Welcome back to Xenonauts. Last time, after a failed attempt to stop a terror mission in the air, we had to stop it on the ground, but that went okay in the end. Then we went right into an alien base attack, which actually went pretty well, apart from the fact that the aliens were whipping out the grenade launchers. Boom Headshot was killed and some others had close calls as a result. We did though manage to capture an alien leader in that mission, so we finally progressed the story. Now we're just after that mission. I finished researching Alien Reactor. I thought maybe this would give me some way to make my planes faster. Actually, it unlocks another research, Plasma Explosives, which is the research that gives you a straight upgrade to your aerial weaponry. You don't have to buy it or anything, so it's a nice, dare I say, fun upgrade that just makes you more powerful once you research it, so I am going to go for that. Now for the next wave of UFOs. There's a load of UFOs, but because most of my planes are actually trashed at the moment, I can't really engage them. I could engage these guys near Rodeo though. What I wanted to do is just launch my Foxtrot torpedoes at the bomber and ignore the fighters, because we now know that destroying the bomber technically destroys the fighters as well, in that they just disappear inexplicably. In this case, we couldn't do anything because attacking head-on, there was no way to get past the fighters, so I re-engaged, and this time I spawned beside the enemy, allowing me to easily swoop in and attack the bomber. Or does it? As you can see, an issue that I hinted at in the previous episode comes back, where for some reason your Foxtrots suddenly lose their turning circle once they almost have the enemy in their firing arc, so the firing arc will move up to the enemy and then stop. You can see it happening again there. No idea what's happening here. I was testing turning off and on the afterburner in case that had something to do with it. Didn't appear to be the case. Is it because I was too close in both cases to turn and fire? Doesn't indicate that that's what's happening, but that's a possibility. Anyone who knows what's going on here, do let me know in the comments, because I feel like it's ruined a few aerial battles recently, especially against these bombers, which require some annoying micro. In this case, I was able to escape with one of the Foxtrots after the other one suicided, but anyway, not very satisfying engagement in the end. At least we had some easy fights back over Africa once my Foxtrots from Hammersickle and Concrete were refueled and repaired. I could head out to blow up landing craft, which are nice and easy. There's one mission created over Africa, and we did another one just over to the west with a couple of not completely repaired Foxtrots from Concrete. Now for these missions, I airstruck the one on the left, and for the one near Concrete, I actually sent Charlie 2 to go on that mission because Charlie 2 hasn't done much. In the meantime, I'm going to do something very special to Charlie 3, in that they're all fired. As part of my cost-saving plan, I'm going to move all of the soldiers currently stationed in America back over to either Concrete or Hammersickle to act as reserves, because as you may have noted, and I mentioned previously, the team at Rodeo just hasn't had to do anything in ages. The aliens rarely go over there, and we rarely get a mission, so we're just not even going to bother. Rodeo will still shoot down enemy craft, but we won't have a team operating there. This will save us a bit of money, we can get rid of a dropship, and we don't have to keep buying reserves for the other two bases, because now we've got reserves transferred in. Anyway, so as I said, Charlie 2 was going for that mission in Africa, but I ended up sending them back because I realised they'd arrive in the middle of the night and the mission would probably just disappear if I tried to wait. Instead, I shot down a landing craft on the other side of the world, and I'll send Charlie 2 to that in a minute. I was sitting here waiting for Charlie 2's equipment, new equipment to arrive from Concrete. I was giving them wolf armour, and after that I was going to send them on to do that mission. But at the same time, I'd sent Charlie 1 to go and attack a downed landing craft somewhere in the British Isles. But because I was thinking so hard about Charlie 2's mission, I thought this was Charlie 2's mission, didn't read the thing saying that this was Charlie 1's mission, even though Charlie 2 wasn't even airborne at this time. And long story short, it's a night mission. I've somehow done it again every time I mess up more and more to get these night missions going. I started off by going to the left of the helicopter and checking inside this barn here. There's a Harridan inside. Big Iron took a shot and missed. There's also an Andron strolling over. It takes some shots at Barrel Scrape hiding behind that hay. The cover didn't really help, but his armour appeared to resist all the damage, along with his shield that is. So that was good. Then Weak-Willed, who's over by the chopper still, snipes down the Andron. Now I wanted Big Iron to take a look for that Harridan because it was probably still around here somewhere, and in fact it was just around the corner, so we can walk right up to it with loads of time units left blasted in the face, and that was the end of that. Surprisingly easy, actually. I moved over to the left side of this barn building and discovered another Andron. This time we'll just do a run and gun with shotguns. Betty Buckshot goes up, takes the shot, not enough to bring it down. Could shoot again, but I'm going to use Big Iron because if the second volley didn't kill, I'd have very few time units, so I'd be likely to take reaction fire, since the chance of the enemy firing at you depends on how many time units you have after acting, I think. In some unknown way, that is. Now, actually, no more enemies were discovered. We rushed into the UFO and captured the lower floor. That was all fine. And finally, we encountered the reason why the mission hadn't ended yet in the bridge of the UFO. So we're skipping right to the end now. I'm doing the usual hide in the door tactic. I don't want to go into the room because the Androns are dangerous to fight. I'm just capturing the doors and opening them every turn to see what we can see. Eventually, we see there's actually two Androns in there, and they're standing next to each other in a nice position for ray and to fire. It was partially blocked and we destroyed the blockage, doing a tiny bit of damage to the enemy but nothing much. In a future turn we got another better shot with Hillary Highcow onto the green Andron on the other side of the room. It goes down. Now it's safer for us to go inside the room since there's just one target. So in the next turn I went in and the Andron had actually come over here to be beside the door, which is perfect, giving me more time units to shoot at it, and Big Iron brings it down. So that was actually a really good mission. Those wounds there were already on Charlie 1 before we went out. I noted though that in night missions, even when you're inside, you still get the night mission debuff to your line of sight, even if there seems to be lights on the interior of the UFO. I don't know, more oversights to deal with. Now I actually remembered to send Charlie 2 out to go and do that mission, then remembered why I didn't do it before. It's because of those deliveries that just came in. There's a load of wolf armor that I wanted Charlie 2 to equip, and it was all pointless anyway because the mission actually disappeared before daybreak, so nothing came of that. Probably shouldn't have even mentioned it. Anyway, I completed the research for plasma weaponry so we can upgrade all of our generic weapons now. Well, I say we can. We can in theory. It's still going to take absolutely loads of money to actually achieve it. I'm going to put all of my scientists on this leader interrogation since it might actually lead to something. And there are new weapons options. They're all really expensive and they'll take so long to make that I don't know if we'll ever actually see them in use. We'll find out if we're still going in the campaign. In 10 episodes I guess we'll have them. Now in the next wave of UFOs I got to test out our new Corsair fighter, the upgrade to the Condor. I sent it to attack a single scout, head on, one-on-one. Let's see how it performs. The first thing, which caught me off guard a bit, is that they actually don't have any missiles. They just have 2 Gatling lasers, so they don't have particularly long range and they can't immediately knock out the enemy at the beginning. So we do fly through the enemy's arc of fire and get shot before bringing the scouts down, but we barely took any damage, so it seems the Corsair doesn't have the most offensive power, but it's kind of tanky, which might be useful. After that I sent my Foxtrots to attack a landing ship guarded by fighters, because this group was going on a terror mission. We have a 0% chance to win, according to the auto-resolve previously. However, we have the perfect scenario for the surgical strike with the Foxtrots. We release the torpedoes and immediately turn away. The torpedoes destroy the landing craft, and we're able to escape with our afterburners on before the fighters can do anything against us. Very good stuff. While we've averted a terror mission, it's not all that good because you still get a normal mission, which is going to be kind of the same thing, just with slightly fewer enemies. Anyway, also took down another landing craft nearby, and that's going to give us a mission for Charlie 2 to go on now, while Charlie 1 will go after this downed terror mission craft. The scout that I downed, by the way, I airstruck. There was no point doing that mission, I didn't think. Just before the next mission started, we had an encounter over America when 1 heavy fighter takes on 2 of my Condors, and apparently we had a 100% chance to win auto-resolve. I was like, okay, fine, because I had very low confidence for a manual resolve, and we won, taking no damage, so that's good to know. Anyway, now we go into Charlie 1's mission after spending a while staring at the engagement button, making sure it was actually daytime. Off to the left of the chopper we discovered the first enemies. 3 pretty much discovered around the same time. The first 2 are here. There's a Harridan and an Andron behind these walls. I was able to throw a stun grenade with Betty around a couple of corners and into the area where the Harridan was. We got the gas, and now it's just a case of waiting to see if it worked. And in this case, it actually did work. At the start of the alien turn, the Harridan falls unconscious. We see an Andron further away shooting at a civilian. The other, nearer Andron, walks into the stun gas and actually takes damage. I presumed Androns would be immune to stun gas, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Maybe it took 0 damage and it still does the animation and sound effect, not really sure. Anyway, we did see another Andron down here in the trees, but we've got this nice long-range shot with Weak-Willed from back near the chopper, and we get it. He's been doing some good work, Weak-Willed. His low bravery will probably ruin his career one day, but his high stats certainly come in useful. Useless, another party member who's getting better and better, comes over to shoot at this Andron, but this time she lives up to her name with a whole load of misses, even at that really medium range. So I went for Betty Buckshot instead to try and get this done. She takes a shot, the Andron resists 2/3 of the hits, then the same thing happens in reverse. We got the worst of it since the enemy's one bit of hit did more damage. Anyway, we ended the affair by taking it down with a second volley. Now that Andron we saw a bit further away starts coming towards us, it walks right through a wall, so that's going to make things go a bit faster. Some reaction fire goes out, but it's all shotgun reaction fire, which doesn't really do anything. It also tries to shoot at us, not achieving anything itself. Then I thought, I've got you now, because I had my gunners up on the roof of this building, thinking now they'll have perfect line of sight over all of the detritus and be able to gun the enemy down easily. But apparently not. That little table next to where Big Iron is somehow blocking Ray and Prey's line of sight. Hillary's line of sight is also blocked by something, a bit of wall that doesn't appear to be between her and the target, and I would have hoped she'd be firing over it, but whatever. More line of sight shenanigans getting in our way. I eventually do an aimed shot with the shotgun in Betty Buckshot's hands and bring the enemy down. After that, it was another one of these missions where there were no enemies outside of the UFO, so we went all the way over and went in. It's kind of annoying because it takes 5 to 10 minutes to traverse the map safely, always making sure you're ready to receive enemies if they suddenly come into your line of sight. And it's this unique combination of stressful and boring, because it ends up constituting most of the mission, but you don't really do anything, so it's kind of annoying. Anyway, I wish they would distribute the enemies a bit more evenly across the map, I guess is what I'm saying, even if it means there's nothing in the UFO. Anyway, while I was ranting, we got a shot into the UFO with a machine gun and took down an Andron waiting on the inside. Now just setting up to send the rest of the squad in to look for more foes. 4.5 minutes later, almost exactly, here we are upstairs in the UFO. The ground floor was all clear as it turned out, and the final enemies were just over by the control panels and such upstairs. We've got a blue Andron, not going to rush in of course, just going to set up for an attack from these doors if I can, so we can use the old door cover strategy. This Andron's trying to shoot at us, luckily it fails to do anything. We also spot a Harridan hiding behind it. So now we wait around as we are, then in the next turn the Harridan's still there, we can shoot through the door with our scatter laser and bring it down before it gets up to any mischief. As for the Andron, we don't see it for a while, then a purple Andron appears, first shooting at us invisibly around the corner I guess, then stepping out for another shot. Weak-Willed is hit, could shoot back, but I wanted to move him out of the way because if he took reaction fire and got hit, he might actually die. Instead I'm going to shuffle about with Hillary Highcow to try and get machine gun line of sight around the corner to just about take these guys out. And then we spot the blue Andron again is also in the same place, so perhaps that was the guy shooting at me invisibly around the corner. We take a shot at them with Hillary, managed to suppress barrel scrape and not do any damage to the enemy, that was good. In the next turn, tried it again, this time after moving my team out of the way, but somehow it suppressed them even more. We got loads of suppression here. This is kind of good, because being suppressed without taking damage is a safe way to train your bravery stat. It upgrades your bravery every time you get suppressed, which increases your max morale, so that's something. It worked more successfully from the other angle, with Ray and Prey taking down the purple Andron. Later on I tried again with Hillary Highcow once the opportunity arose, kept suppressing my own side somehow even after moving them even further away. It seems to be very harsh at the moment. And then finally Weak-Willed was back in position. I took the shots and brought down the blue Andron, and that was the end of that. So a nice safe bridge taking by just playing it really weirdly and exploitatively. Good mission overall. Now after that we completed the research, or the interrogation I guess it is, of the alien leader, and it's mixed results really. We learn interestingly that the aliens' empire is intergalactic, yet they only have a couple of 100 planets. So I don't know how they've managed to do that. There's a couple of billion planets in each galaxy. They clearly don't colonize very much, they just take the odd one here and there, but that's their choice. The disappointing aspect of all this is it's another thing where it just says, oh actually this guy didn't know whatever you're looking for, you have to ask the next guy up in the chain. So there's another higher rank above leader called a praetor, which we haven't seen yet, which is apparently sometimes hanging about in alien bases, and we have to capture them to progress the game. So this is pretty bad. Maybe the original XCOM did it like this and that's why they're aping it, but it doesn't really feel like we're making any progress. It's just getting harder and harder to achieve nothing. Anyway, with that done, I'm going to research the plasma explosives thing to make our planes more powerful. And now we're skipping right into that mission I set up for Charlie 2. It all began with nothing interesting happening until finally we saw one alien. It's one of the blue-shirted guys hiding in a wheat field. We can just about see it over there. So at least it's a nice easy mission for Charlie 2 by the looks of things, since they still haven't got their full wolf armor complement delivered to them. It was actually a while before I saw that alien again, presumably the same alien, off to the left of the field, hiding by this log. Dead Man Wilkin, who is one of the people lucky enough to actually have wolf armor, goes up to take this guy out at point blank range. Also discovering another alien over the hedge in the next field, we'll take cover from him. On the other side of that wheat field, we discovered an alien hiding in a barn with another part of the team. I have split the team up, as you can tell, to cover all of the map at once for this mission. This is not a good idea, but it's faster, and I'm getting annoyed with slowly clearing the map out with the whole team together, especially because a lot of the time the whole team doesn't have to fire, it's really just for emergency scenarios. Anyway, on the left side of the field, to deal with that enemy over the hedge, I'm using No Brain as a spotter to extend McScope's sniping range. You can snipe accurately much further than you can see, so No Brain keeps peeking around the corner at the start of each turn to see where the enemy is. McScope fires, and after a load of times doing this, we eventually kill that enemy before he ever gets a chance to fire at us. That works pretty well. Moving up reveals there's another one over the next hedge, so I'm going to leave No Brain and McScope here to try and repeat their success with the spotter and sniper combo. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad has gone over to the alien UFO. Inside, 3 aliens are close to the door, and we've got a perfect scenario here for the old shoot into the door and close it to avoid being shot back at. There's cover just outside the alien door for our gunners to use, and the alien cover isn't going to be enough to stop all of our shots if we just sit here expending as much ammo as we need. J-Mobile immediately kills the one that's not really in cover. The other 2 are better protected. Friendfire's going to take some shots here, but he's not able to kill an alien. He does suppress it though, so it's less likely to shoot back. And that's good actually, because in this case they didn't have enough movement points to close the door in the same turn, so they will have a chance to shoot back at us, not achieving anything with the one shot that comes out. We see an alien at the back there, moving to go upstairs in the teleporter, so now we need to keep that in mind. The alien on the left side of the wheat fields that McScope's tracking ran away, so that was annoying. We're going to be pursuing him for a while. But anyway, focusing on this for now, we can shoot again into the room now that the aliens are still just sort of sitting there. This volley does a bit of damage to the red guy and suppresses both of the enemies. J-Mobile fires at the purple guy after same boots as last guy gets out of the way. Again, we can't pick up the kill, but we do destroy the cover. Now Snail Racer with his rifle has a pretty clear shot and an okay chance to hit, so let's start firing. We get a hit with some damage, no kill though. Enough points remained to shoot again, and that took him out. We're thinning the enemy down now, just 2 confirmed enemies remaining inside the UFO, probably 1 more, because I think there's always one in the bridge, or at least there always seems to have been so far. The red guy was taken out on the next turn, and we began to occupy the lower half of the UFO. As for the guy in the corner we were chasing, there was a bit of an incident. He managed to shoot No Brain with reaction fire while I was moving to try and get a slightly closer spotting position, since he kept moving out of my line of sight. That's a shame. She's near death, and I'm going to be a bit more cautious with her now. As it happened, We didn't really need her for this because McScope ended up just seeing the guy with his own eyes, took the shot with no animation, and there we go, that's that enemy down. So now all we need to do is attack the bridge, and while all that was happening, I happen to have set up to do it, so here we are. We can see there's one alien inside, but we know that one alien teleported up here as well, so there's probably another one somewhere. Although I'm not completely sure of that in retrospect, because I thought the guy who teleported up had a blue shirt. And in this case, we're only going to be seeing purple shirt aliens. That one is just shot in the face with the usual method, thanks to Mr. Get. The other one is also near the door, so Deadman Walking can do the same thing, but it's another purple shirt guy, and I think if you look on the left side of the UFO teleport room, there's a blue alien body. I think maybe the fire was still going that caused all that smoke back when the alien teleported in and it died in the fire. Not sure if that can even happen, but that's my theory. Irrelevant anyway, we killed the enemies in there with no trouble whatsoever. It was a nice easy mission apart from that nasty surprise for no brain. Now the next wave of UFOs has appeared for us to deal with. I'm doing an experimental combo here, sending a Foxtrot and a Corsair to try and bring down a landing craft. The Foxtrot has no problem because it can easily outrange the landing craft and then just fly away, but the Corsair, with its very tiny arc of fire, needs to get behind the enemy. I thought that would be okay, figuring the Corsair is new and shiny and fast, but it's not that fast. In fact, it's not that good at all. I think it's better than the Condor, but the Condor was trash, so it's not saying all that much. We did get it in the end, just took a million years. Seemed like I was actually shooting at the enemy before they were in my arc of fire there, slightly cheekily. Anyway, we downed the enemy just before crashing into it, and that gives us a mission for Charlie 1 to go on up there. First though, there was another experimental encounter. Because I'm low on Foxtrots, I'm doing all these things where I'm sending one Foxtrot and other stuff to try and bring down landing craft, so now it's time to try 2 Condors instead of a Corsair. The Foxtrot obviously gets things off to a good start by launching its torpedoes and getting the damage going, then he can just get out the way. As for the Condors, we had a bit of a mishap. You can see one of my Condors, while running from the enemy, suddenly turned back into the arc of fire. This is because, I think I've mentioned it before, if you don't give your planes orders for some amount of time, they automatically change their current order to go and attack the nearest enemy. In this case, that means it was easily destroyed. Had hoped that the distraction would allow the other Condor to destroy the landing craft from behind, but the Condors are actually somehow a bit slower than the landing craft with their afterburners off, so it was really difficult for us to catch up. Finally, I was able to fly in and hit it, taking a bit of damage onto that final Condor. Overall, bit of a classic aerial disaster. After that, we researched something that could have come in very useful for those encounters, the plasma explosive upgrade. This not only gives you better grenades and the like on your ground team, but perhaps more importantly, gives you better torpedoes and missiles for your planes, and it's a straight, free upgrade. We just have them now. So with any luck, we can bring down a landing craft with 1 Foxtrot. That's what we need. Then we can much more efficiently defend the skies. I'm now going to research alien armor plating, hoping to get stronger stuff, perhaps better battle armor, and maybe even better planes from that. Just to complete the demonstrations of bad aerial combat, here's one more fight. It's another 2 Foxtrots on a landing craft, usually very easy, but it's the case where we're attacking it head on. Now it's not so easy, because while we'll destroy it, it will get shots off before the torpedoes hit it, and because we can't dodge with a Foxtrot, we might lose one of our planes if we just go straight into the attack. So I tried to be clever, waiting for the enemy to not quite face me, then suddenly turn into attack. But it doesn't work like that because the torpedoes need 2 seconds to lock on before firing, whereas the enemy long-range weapons don't. So I should have actually just flown head on. It would have been more effective than trying to micro it in that case. After that, we've got 2 missions lined up, one for Charlie 1, one for Charlie 2, and we'll get onto those next time.